Yeah, making a video. Yeah, physics video. Follow up on the first one, I suppose. Professor Anton made a video on time travel, and he's kind of anti, yeah, anti time travel. For some sort of reason, like life is things are too complex to be unraveled backwards or something, and then he doesn't like the idea of the time element, as if time doesn't have something to do with time travel, which doesn't make any sense either. But anyway, yeah, you can't time travel because the speed of light is a constant, and that's just the truth. And he pointed out like twice in the video, made reference to the idea of a universe made of photons, and so there's sort of the why I saw it as relevant. Just because, yeah, that's the truth of it. It is all photons. It is all just little bits doing little bitty things, and you can backward run the little bitness, and you'll end up in the past. And clearly, if you could go faster than the little bits are doing their bidding, you'd end up going backwards. There's no other choice but to go backwards if you're going faster than the stuff going forward. Yeah, see, the stuff going forward is going this fast. You go faster, you'll inevitably end up going backward faster than they're going forward. Duh. So anyway, but you can't do it, so it doesn't matter. It's nonsensical, not reasonable. It won't happen. So you can think it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. We can't even barely carry information at the speed of light. You have to do it very carefully. You have to arrange all the fish. So we're back to the school of fish thing. You have to arrange all the fish in the right order and then have them swim straight, and then you can move information the speed of light. But that's the only way you can even move information the speed of light, is to arrange the individual fish going the speed of light. How you're going to move something faster, again, where, how, no, it's not going to happen. So anyway, getting to a couple of comments on the videos. One was just fail. Got 3 thumbs up for a comment fail. And you're just saying, you wish that this was accountable. You wish that these people would identify themselves. So you could just say, that's it. That's the best you can do. Fail. Yeah, I'm sorry. How am I supposed to react to that? Oh, anonymous cowards who don't even identify themselves say fail. Gee, that's so meaningful. Anyway, so yeah, I'll post a link to this video on the fail remark. My counter argument to fail is fuck you. There. Die horribly and quickly, or slowly. Yeah, die slowly and horribly. Yeah, fuck you. You're such a useless sack of shit. Anyway, a waste of my time, waste of this time. Time has interacted, stuff has happened, and it's not productive time because unproductive people exist in the universe, unfortunately, and they waste our time, sadly. Anyway, so then some other guy linked to some kind of Finnegan's Rainbow bullshit, mathematics regarding translating wave function information into different languages, so to speak, different descriptive modes. So a translator between descriptive modes of analyzing waveforms. And he says that somehow has something to do with the video I posted, which, no, not even close to something to do with it. First, it's this obtuse mathematics that I don't have too much respect for anyway, because it probably can be broken down to a much simpler point. You're just analyzing key points and saying the only way you get to those key points is through a certain mechanism. So it's basically a connect the dot kind of thing, that you can sometimes get the essence of something in a very simple analog, kind of like vector graphics. Vector graphics were very good at making a highly detailed but simple graphic image that could be scaled in size and retain its precision. This was all just mathematical. Curves and stuff. So yeah, there's value in having translations, but they're kind of like just metaphors. So they're like my school of the fish metaphor. It's a way of simplifying zillions of atoms, well, zillions of photons, into something we can understand as having behavior as a group, and that it's very different when they're in a group, and their behavior can be very complex, and we can certainly understand the difference between when the individual fish are doing something, and when the school is doing something, like moving. You could have a high degree of activity in the fish's behavior, and yet no apparent activity in the school's behavior. And that's what basically is happening with the invention of matter, is that photons are being wrapped in a collective, and that collective can appear to be doing very little. Like this rock is doing very, very little, just sitting around for a very long time. Back to time again. Through a lot of interaction, it just sits and sits and sits, because all of its photons are schooled and rolled in that school and spinning in that school, and but if they are turned a little bit, yep, game on. All right, let's see if there was any other critiques I can remember. So anyway, the guy linked to, he didn't even link, he said go watch 40 hours of videos on bullshit. So I'm not going to bother with that. Some other jerk said something about, I'm sorry, I'm going to call you a jerk, because you're just not getting the point of the video. That I need to learn the math and somehow blah 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 blah, and I don't have to do any of that. I'm not changing the math any. The math is all still the math. I'm changing the model. I'm changing the description of why the math comes out the way it is. I don't need to do the r squared blah 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 bullshit about gravity, because my model fits the math. So I don't need to redo the math. So I don't see how it's terribly relevant. The point will be is to find mathematical formulas where the theory is inconsistent with the formula. Those would be interesting to find. But someone's going to have to go look for that. And I don't think they're going to find it. Because even the math of quantum mechanics says absolutely nothing about photons, and says everything about the interaction between photons and electrons, which validates my point. So anyway, where else do we go with this? The interaction essentially with photons and matter, the same thing as electrons. Photons interact with the electrons in the matter. Anyway, having a bit of a cruddy day. So yeah, screw that. Let's see what I was thinking about some other stuff to add to it, but it's this the shape dynamics are the interesting one. Oh yeah, some guy said force, so he brought up forces. So again, I say explicitly in the video that consistent with my theory or my argument is that there are no such thing as forces. Forces are created by things doing something to other things directly, personally. They're interacting. They're rubbing up against each other, so to speak. There's no force involved. That's exactly my point. There's no magical force. The force is a flow of something. It is not a flow of nothing. Maybe nothing we can see, but I'm just saying it's a something, not a nothing. Where to go with that? Yeah, so I said that explicitly in the video, that I'm basically saying yeah, gravity is not a force. Magnetism is not a force. It is not some invisible magical attraction. It is a physical thing that physically changes the physical matter and makes it, changes its configuration, changes the school of fish. So that's something to understand again. I don't need to change too many fish in a school of fish to have the whole school move. So just having a couple of fish go that way, okay, a little bit more, wider turn that way, keep wider turning that way. The other fish will follow. They'll feel the pressure, so to speak. They'll feel it in the sense that their reflex will reflexively tend to move the whole school in that direction. So just having a couple of eccentric fish that go a little bit wider, the whole school will move. And that's sort of the point being made here, is that the force is in the structure, and that when my body falls because of gravity, it is falling because the matter in me is going that way. More of it is grabbing space in that direction, or trying to. And there has to be some impediment that stops it, some other fish going the other way, essentially. And there has to be a conflict between those two that will create friction and the consequences of those interactions between the two. There'll be more activity. So a thing trapped on the surface is obliged to be more physically active because it's chemistry. I mean, it's atoms, because they're not satisfied. Their true destiny is being interrupted, and that interruption is creating disorder, a degree of disorder in them, because it can't be negated. Directionality, although not energy in and of itself, like directionality doesn't. It's like the gravity argument, and the fact that you can change the direction of a spaceship by going into a gravitational field and then popping out in another direction. You can do that without losing any energy, without having to expend any, except the minor amount to eject you from the gravity. But that was the same that would have pushed you into the gravity. So, how to put that? So the directionality doesn't require energy. The energy is just in the direction, though. That's a little dicey. We'll come back to that one. Yeah, it's a good time for the camera to. My damn thing is broken. Everything's a little broken around here lately. Around my life. Lots of broken bits currently. Even inside of me, quite unsettled, quite uncomfortable, angsty and such. Alright, so that's probably enough of a video, but we'll make more videos. I will respond to comments. I will try to explain more. I will also, as I go through this process, I think I will be able to get a more clear image of what are more certain elements of the theory and more drafty elements, and those are important distinctions to make, and I will try to do that. Anyway, until next time. Really am struggling with psychological friction. Yeah, gotta get that out of there. Get the fish to move more harmoniously and such. and whatnot. Ooh, they have the heater on.